Hello, it is Social Media Saturday, March 21st, 2020. Steve Sipress here. Going to give you a little tip of what's happening on Facebook and likely elsewhere on social media and likely almost anywhere on the internet, possibly search engines, email providers, all of that. Now, I put this out there as a bonus tip on Wednesday on my World Wide Web Wednesday message. Because that's when around when Facebook came out and said that posts that are using the words coronavirus and or COVID-19 are going to be penalized on Facebook. So if you run ads, attempt to run ads using either of those words, they're not going to be accepted by Facebook. It's been going on for a few days. And if you put posts up on Facebook with either of those two words in them, they are not going to be showing those posts to nearly as many people as you think. Hey, Tove, good seeing you. And so what does this mean? Well, obviously, it means don't be using those phrases, those words right now. But here's the fundamental long-term business strategy that this illustrates for action takers. Although this is a very accelerated basis, but as a general rule, fast action takers always win. Money loves speed. And you want to be out there and take fast action when the game is on. Like right now, in the downturn of the economy, for example, the game is on. Now is the time to put things in place so that when the economy comes back, you are positioned to profit immensely as we come out of this government-mandated, you do not have the right to assemble. We've taken away your First Amendment rights on our own whim by inept and corrupt government bureaucrats, but I digress. Now is the time to position yourself. If you're not sure what to do, there are very specific strategies and specific tactics, specific things to do. Go to helpfromsteve.com, and I will let you know at least a few, if not many, that will work in your particular business, in your particular area, because that's just the way it is. Now is not the time to cower in the corner. Now is the time to cower in the corner if you're a 9-to-5 worker, because you're wondering if your company's going to shut down, if you're going to lose your job, if the government's going to send you a check and do all kinds of other socialist stuff and bail you out. But as business owners, it's quite the opposite. This is the time we've been waiting for. The business owners are, of course, complacent during the boom time we've had for the last few years. And, hey, I don't need to do anything special, and I'll just keep doing what I'm doing, and things are going well, and money's flying along. Well, now money is tight, and the economy is not coming back to the way it was. Big, big changes are taking place, and you need, if you ask me, I don't usually tell business owners what you need to do, but in this case, I'll make an exception. You really need to position yourself correctly over this next, and you likely have only a short amount of time to do it until, at least here in America, Americans who, it's a country based on the land of the free, we get sick and tired of the government telling us do as I say, not as I do, and that suddenly we can't do anything, we can't have a life, we can't enjoy ourselves. So that isn't going to last much longer before the people get fed up with the BS and get out there just as we do during any flu season, colds going around, whatever's going around. You don't want to catch it, you stay home. Simple as that. Or if you think you have it, or whatever. But otherwise, like, the whole world isn't shut down. But anyway, so here's the long-term point it represents. Fast action takers. So about 3 maybe, when this coronavirus panicdemic was just bubbling up and reaching its heights, that was the time to put out your Facebook posts and your Facebook ads using the phrase that was on everybody's mind and would grab everyone's attention, coronavirus. So you might, if you scroll back, if you're watching this on my blog or on YouTube, my YouTube channel, maybe you're watching on LinkedIn, one of my Facebook pages, my podcast, rhinodaily.com/podcast, Twitter. I put this all over the place. You can scroll back and you'll see a couple of weeks ago, probably half of my videos for a couple of weeks used in the title the word coronavirus, because that worked. And people were clicking on it like crazy, and Facebook was showing it to everybody, and I got more views than by probably 5 or 10 times than I normally get. What happened was we are all completely sick of messages about coronavirus. It's all you see on TV. It's all you see in the news anywhere. It's pretty much all you see on social media. Certainly, we've all gotten hundreds of emails from every single company. Here's what we're doing about coronavirus. Here's our policy about coronavirus. Here's what we're doing. And now people are sick and tired of it. So people are no longer opening those emails. People are no longer clicking on those Facebook posts. And Facebook is responding by saying, you know what? All the government agencies, and that leads me, hang on, I'll give you an exception, is if the post is from and accepted to Facebook, of course, doesn't mean anything in the real world, but Facebook, they consider it an acceptable source for the post. So if it comes from one of the corrupt, inept government organizations like the World Health Organization or the CDC, well, that post will show up and that'll come through. They could even put ads if they wanted with that in it. Facebook will allow that. But they in the beginning, they allowed all the posts. But then, see, marketers, like hopefully you're watching my videos, hopefully you're considering yourself no longer a doctor, a plumber, chiropractor, a heating and air guy, a lawyer. You're a marketer. You're a marketer of heating and air services. You're a marketer of medical services. You're a marketer of chiropractic services. But you're a marketer first and foremost. And marketers work to get attention. And that word was getting all the attention. So marketers seized on it. And like I said, I can give you proof that my video views went up by at least 5 times, sometimes 10 times, by using that word. Everyone was interested. Now, Facebook is like, look, all the government stuff, first of all, it's out there. Everyone knows the websites to go to. It's on TV anytime you want to turn it on. All that's pretty much left is the marketers attempting to use that word to get their message across. So I would receive some of these bait and switch emails. Hey, I remember one by a young kid, this kid in his early 20s. Oh, my brother died of coronavirus. I was like, I know the guy. I was like, your kid, that was early on when, and we still pretty much know that, don't be ridiculous. If you're young and in shape and don't have a heart condition or whatever, that isn't happening. But that, so I was like, what? That's crazy. Sure enough, I click on it and it starts off with what typical bait and switch messages do. It starts by going, that's not a message you ever want to hear. So you want to take precautions and blah, 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 so it doesn't happen. So I'm hoping that doesn't happen to me and blah, blah. I'm like, you bait and switcher. So Facebook's on to the marketer's game. So the early bird got the worm. The fast action takers, marketers that realized or pay attention to me and what I was teaching over the last few weeks was use that word and it gets massive attention. Facebook is now on to the marketers and saying, yeah. Now if you use that word, now we're going to penalize you. So that happens, by the way, all the time. I mean, that's what happened in general on the whole World Wide Web, say, 20 years ago. It was the wild, wild west. You could do all kinds of things on the search engines. So Google was a baby and there was like 10 other search engines that people used, but you could go on them and do these kind of bait and switch and put in the headline. I remember Britney Spears was a big name in those days and was like getting the most hits on the internet for when you could go, Britney Spears and Bill Clinton, and just put that in the title. It would get you ranking all the way up to the top of the search engines, and then it would click and it would go to my webpage. And that worked to get my webpage all the way up to number 1, just putting in Britney Spears. Not that I did it, but people that did that would get their websites up there in the wild, wild west. Now, of course, it's long been since slapped by Google and all the search engines that you can't do that stuff. But back in the day, the wild, wild west, when there were no rules and everything was new, the fast action takers seized on those tactics, made a ton of money before search engines took it away. In this case, Facebook taking it away. But like I said, I got a ton of views on my videos and a lot of attention and a whole bunch of calls and likely new clients from it by using that phrase. But now, fast action taking is done very quickly. I mean, that kind of Britney Spears bait and switching nonsense on the search engines worked for, I don't know, at least years, at least 2-3 years back then. This one, 2 weeks. And Facebook says, that's it. No longer, not only am I not showing your post to more people because it says coronavirus and that's what everyone's clicking on. No. Now I'm not showing it to nobody. So that's how quick the coronavirus being used by marketers to get attention went from the wild, wild west, let's just use coronavirus and people will click on our emails and watch our Facebook ads and respond and read our posts. And yeah, 2 weeks, Facebook came out and said, yeah, no more of that crap. So, as a general rule, when you hear someone give you a tip, if you're watching my videos and you get a tip and it's timely, and I say now is the time to capitalize this, now is the time to capitalize on it. In fact, since I'm telling you, it's likely I heard it already an hour before, a day before, or 2 days before. So you're already late to the party. Get going. Don't think about it. Don't wonder about it. Don't say, no, okay, let's pay someone to build a website and we'll put it up in a few weeks, and then you missed the boat. Already gone. Okay, the world is moving at I don't have to tell you, at an incredibly much faster pace than it ever has before. So, fast action takers take fast action and get rewarded. And the slow action takers, by now, if you haven't put out videos yet using the word coronavirus and getting 10 times the hits you ever got before, you're too late. You missed it. So be a fast action taker. Money loves speed. In case you think that there's ever been a headline and somebody being interviewed on TV at the end of the race because he was the slowest runner. Hey, now, I digress. Sometimes the slowest runner, like remember that Eddie the Eagle guy or something falling off from England in the Olympics like 25 years ago, falling off the ski jump thing once in a while, or the Jamaican swimmer that came in last place. Or sometimes somebody who's absolutely last place gets attention, but you know what I mean. Somebody who's slow, second place, third place, not getting the money. Let's say you are a heating and air guy, and somebody calls, and he actually calls. I don't know if it must have happened to you if you're on your business for any length of time. They call a heating and air guy in the middle of the night. Guy says, I'll be over. And they don't just wait for him. They call another one. And then they call another one. So they call 3 guys just to see who will actually come over. And the other 2, sorry, you're out of here. Well, there you go. If you're second or third to show up, 0 money. So that's just a general rule in business. Money loves speed. Second and third place, going slow, thinking about it, considering it, wondering if you should do it, getting ready. I'm working on it. It's one of my favorite loser phrases. I'm working on it. Like, stop working on it and just do it, okay? And you hear me say a lot, the phrase I learned from one of my mentors, Dan Kennedy, good enough is good enough. Get it out there. You can tweak it later. But in this case, when I alert you that there's a word or phrase that is timely and is getting a lot of attention and boosting all your hits and views, and your ads are making 5 times the money for the same amount of investment, you want to use that immediately. You don't want to wait. In this case, 2 weeks, and now I have to inform you that you can no longer use that term. Not only will it not work, it will get you penalized. So that's the daily, the timely news of the day with the word, and also the fundamental long-term time-tested strategy as well surrounding it. So let's go to the questions, comments, concerns, issues. Tovi says marketing is changing at a fast rate. Cure is the next hot word, putting your system in place to change the moment's notice. Yeah, that they're going to slap that down pretty quick too, but go ahead. I like it. Like, as long as I haven't heard, of course, today I haven't paid much attention to anything after a crazy week. I mean, I implemented so much stuff, calling my clients, making sure they're on the ball and switching things and repositioning themselves, and had a crazy week. And I thought I was going to work today. And then I got up and said, oh my goodness, am I exhausted from nonstop action taking all week long to respond to this whole gold mine of an opportunity we now have. And I'll get back to work a little bit tomorrow. So I don't know if they came out with anything today, but I guess go ahead. I haven't heard anything. I can talk to people I know if you can, use Cure. And possibly, I know that when I turned on the news the last few days, they are talking about a treatment, a cure. I saw one of these corrupt, inept government bureaucrats coming out and going, oh, that peer-reviewed, published study by one of the world's foremost authorities on viruses, that's just anecdotal. Those are just stories people tell. Like, he just said it over and over. And it was in a press con. The press didn't even call him on it and going like, You think we're that stupid? Like, it's a peer-reviewed, published study by someone who knows a lot more about the subject than you. Are you just jealous you didn't come out with it? Or it doesn't fit the narrative of everyone has to stay at home and you understand, and the government has to step up and bail you out because that's what people in power want, is that control. And so we came out with that BS. Oh, it's anecdotal. So, of course, it's not anecdotal. And, of course, there are treatments for it. And there will be a cure for it or vaccine for it. And then this whole thing will blow over like everything else always does. And people will look back and everyone make their own assessment. Did I over-panic? Did I overreact? Did it make sense to shut down the NBA, Major League Baseball, golf, NASCAR, you name it, Broadway, movie theaters? I mean, movies now that were due to be released yesterday in theaters, they released them to streaming services online. Like, did we really have to crash the entire economy just because a few people got sick? And most of them, of course, the lion's share recovered. Now, of course, people died, and I'm not insensitive to the people that died. But I'm not insensitive to the people that died over the last month from car crashes, which is likely about 5 or 10 times as many as died from this virus, that's for sure. But anyway, that's enough for today. So Sid is here. Good seeing you. So sorry to hear about your mom, Sid. And that'll do it. Oh, this thing even says see more on Toby's comment. Let's see if I can do this. Oh, look at that. Plumbers are essential business, according to New York State. Love it. Oh, there is a plumber. Sewer repair in Buffalo, and New York, which is one of the authoritarian, big liberal, we love to control the people states. Illinois, New York, and California, the three biggest, government knows better than you what to do with your life, and we will control you, and we will arbitrarily say whatever we want. You'll have to do it. And New York's one of them, but not upstate New York. If there was no New York City, upstate New York would be completely sane and not at all loony liberal about things, and they would not be out of control about everything. Looking to control everybody. But that's a good news that your business is seen as an essential business, so you're allowed to still go out and help people when they have a problem. How ridiculous that businesses like a restaurant or a bar can't allow people to come in, just has to do takeout. By the way, huge opportunity, and I have a client who has a marketing system for restaurants and bars, and his clients are having a field day. He is having the greatest time of his life. They're having the greatest time of their life because they have a competitive advantage over the restaurants that are stuck in the mud going, hey, we didn't collect a whole list of 5,000 phone numbers and emails to send people specials and messages and tell them about our takeout, and there's no foot traffic and nobody's going out, and suddenly we're laying people off and we need the government to bail us out and all that BS. Okay, small business owners, very few sometimes need somebody to bail them out or help them out. In this case, almost every small business, there is something you can do right now. You don't need a bailout. This is the best time. Well, I was going to say you'll look back and say there's the best time, but not if you don't take action. And unless you have somebody else helping you out or you know what to do, I'm offering that you can go to helpfromsteve.com and I will let you know what to do. And then it's up to you whether you want to just complain, because that's easy, and you will get sympathy for it. I understand. Times are tough. Businesses are closing up. You're laying everyone off. Gee, I understand, Joe. Understand. Yeah, what you understand is Joe didn't go to helpfromsteve.com and talk to me because they need to be booming and hiring. My client who does those restaurant systems for restaurants and bar owners, they're hiring. They're not laying anybody off, and they're making amazing money, and most importantly, they're positioning themselves for when this ridiculous government made-up panic ceases to exist. Man, they are just in tremendous shape. Hope you are too. That's going to do it for Social Media Saturday. I will check in tomorrow, as always, on Sunday Funday, as the sun sets in the west on another spectacularly beautiful day here in Arizona. I thank everybody for being here live. Thanks, Toby, for participating, and anybody else, leave a comment, question, concern below. I always respond when appropriate. And by all means, if you're ever going to, get over to helpfromsteve.com, my goodness, and start to mine some of the gold that's out there right now, relatively easy for the taking. That'll do it. I'll catch you tomorrow. Over and out. Bye-bye.